Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and let me remind you, if you want to join the group and watch this entire video and the extra content with no commercials, you're going to want to go to either daixrp.com and that's where you join through the Patreon, or you can click right here on this join button below all of my videos, and you can click through, you can join through YouTube that way, but it's the same stuff. And today I'm going to talk to you in the group about where I think, with the market like it is, what I think is going to happen next, and it'll be worth seeing. Okay, so the market has been down. We're at 2.65 trillion. We've got an XRP 2.65 trillion in the total market. So the whole market is reacting basically to all the tariff fears and all that. I consider those things to be short term. It's a good day for things like this. As a reminder, the internet was nothing and then it was everything. It's always a bumpy ride along the way, folks. That's how life works. You know, right on cue, Bitcoin Telegraph is putting this out. XRP could drop another 40% as Trump's 25% tariffs. So they could have written this article on Bitcoin, which all they ever talk about is Bitcoin when they say positive things. But when it's negative, it needs to be XRP. Go figure. We've got Bitcoin Telegraph and we've got Bitcoin Desk, are both two of the major crypto media Twitter handles. Okay, here's this is Jack McDonald the other day. He's in charge of Ripple's VP of Stablecoins. There he is beside Adrienne Harris. This is Adrienne Harris. She's the New York Department of Financial Services superintendent. And I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I'll play a little
Let me ask you
to get the picture.
What have you been doing as a digital asset regulator? And there was a question we got online from Columbia University's Abby Joseph Cohen, who asked specifically about your thinking on consumer protection and digital assets. So big picture digital assets, and then specifically to Professor Cohen's question about the consumer protection, which ties to your worldview.
Yeah. Well, so the digital asset space is such an interesting one, right? Because you hear so much, especially in Washington, prior, right? Don't regulate it because you will legitimize it. And then, you know, sometimes I would talk to my fellow regulators around the country and around the world, and they'd say, well, we don't understand the value of these things. Like, why do they exist? You know, and my view is that that's not really the regulator's role, right? The instruments are here, the products are here, they can do a lot of damage, they need to be well regulated. And so DFS is really the only prudential regulator, right, really active prudential regulator in the country around digital assets. So we have, as you noted, the BIT license. So in order to do virtual currency business in New York, you have to be licensed by DFS. You can do that either through the BIT license or through a limited purpose trust chart.
And who is licensed? Well, that would be one Ripple. And here is Jack McDonald talking about what's been going on. Watch this.
How are you generally? Like, what have you been up to this week?
Well, this has been a fun week for me. I was in Washington, D.C. on Tuesday and Wednesday, visiting with members of Congress on Tuesday with Ripple's policy team, and then visited the Washington Blockchain Summit. Spoke on a panel there, and then went up to New York and had a roundtable with New York Department of Financial Services Superintendent Adrienne Harris and about 15 other market participants talking about DFS and legislation, what we're doing in stablecoins. So it's been a fun, inspiring week. A lot of positive momentum right now in the industry.
Yeah, and a bit of positive news for Ripple as well. The end, a conclusion to this SEC versus Ripple case. Are you feeling happy about that?
I think everyone's feeling happy about it. It's been a long road that began before I joined, and I have a lot of respect for how the team has handled it and fought the good fight. It's great to have this kind of cloud lifted and everything permanently behind us And we're focused on the future. I think it's indicative of a very constructive regulatory environment with the new administration. We're seeing that play out in many different areas. Obviously, the SEC suit is one, but more prospectively, I think the proposed legislation, what's happening with the Crypto Council, our CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, has been quite active on the Hill with the CFTC and other organizations. So it really feels like the time is now, and it's terrific to have some headwinds now be tailwinds for the industry overall.
Yeah, absolutely. And what was the mood like in Washington when you were there? Was it very much reflecting that upbeat mood?
Absolutely. I've been there a few times, and it feels like there's always a couple things going on. That particular day was the hearing around the Signal leak, so there was a hearing going on there. But everybody we spoke to on both sides of the aisle in both chambers of Congress were very, very interested in stablecoin. Some much more educated on the details than others, but everybody is very eager to promote something. And we're just kind of getting down to brass tacks in terms of what the different bills would cover, what they would promote. But overall, I think there's a feeling that there is real momentum right now in the industry, and there's a real desire to promote innovation in the U.S. and make the U.S. the crypto capital. So those aren't just sound bites. Having the privilege and opportunity, frankly, to meet with the lawmakers and hear directly from them their desire to put the U.S. crypto industry in a pole position is really inspiring, but it's also a big change from, I think, where anybody felt like we were 2 years ago under some of the other, prior administration appointments, et cetera. So,
bingo. Let's see what else we got. Oh, this is interesting. Andrew had said, I can't wait for the Ripple SEC. Remember, the lawsuit, I think the final thing is that the commission has to vote, which should not be a problem. But right here, remember this? CEO Brad Garlinghouse reportedly said at Ripple Swell Conference 2022 that Bank of America would gain a competitive advantage by using Ripple's ODL product with once the ongoing litigation in the SEC is resolved. And then Riz has put out this little clip from Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan.
And so I think if it becomes regulatory okay, which it wasn't before, and that's one of the issues, you'll see the banking system enter with, we have hundreds of patents on blockchain already. We know how to enter the field. And so I think if it becomes...
There you go. Now, this guy apparently doesn't know that you're not allowed to say these things, especially when the market is down. This is considered wild speculation. This is a no-no. You're not allowed to do this. The crypto XRP Gestapo will come and get you if you say things like this. But for that reason, we must play it here.
For XLM and XRP, there is a triangle love, okay? When XRP goes up, XLM will go up. XLM will go up, automatically HBAR will go up. Because XRP is money moving object for commercial money moving, only commercial. Okay, very few people will use it peer-to-peer. But when it's done deal that XRP is out of lawsuit, appeal is withdrawn, bank will start officially using it to do, like wiring will be over, SWIFT will be over slowly. It will not gonna happen overnight. It will take some time before XRP, the more banking industry, financial industry worldwide adapt, each time XRP is adapted by a bank or a company, the price will go up. I truly believe one day you will see XRP in $10,000 plus. Now, that may be 10 years from now, 7 years from now, or 3 bull runs from now. It is not if, it will be. But time frame I cannot put because I have studied XRP like Bible. I've been studying since I was in banking industry. In 2013, XRP was introduced. I am studying XRP since then, every month, every week, almost every day.
I love it. Now, I'm not saying it's going to 10,000, but I'm not saying it can't. FTX will start repaying their major creditors on May 30th using $11.4 billion in cash reserves. Some creditors have already begun receiving payments. I'm still wondering when they're going to look into the political donations from FTX. The rest of it's noise to me. Look at this, spotted in the wild. Ripple custody. I think that's the Empire State Building there in the background. Look at this. Here's a shocker for all you Dogecoin addicts and meme coiners. This is just so shocking. Almost like I told you so. Meme coins, 99% of this stuff's going to zero, folks. And I'm not saying Dogecoin's going to zero, but 99% of it is. There's fun and games, and then there's XRP.
The names are similar, but they're doing two very different things. In fact, I was going to call it like the Government Efficiency Commission, but that's a super boring name. And then the internet said, no, it needs to be called the Department of Government Efficiency. I was like, well, the internet is right. So we changed the name from Government Efficiency Commission to Department of Government Efficiency. But there are no plans for the government to use Dogecoin or anything, as far as I know. So that they happen to be similar names, but really we're just literally trying to make the government 15% more efficient.
There you go. Now look, here's everybody's like, look at this right here, Mike Novogratz. They're talking about the $200 million settlement for Galaxy Digital. According to AG, Galaxy promoted Luna publicly while secretly dumping its holdings, accelerating the crash and misleading investors. Firm allegedly violated New York's Martin Act, one of the most powerful anti-fraud laws in the U.S., giving the AG sweeping authority to go after securities fraud, both civil and criminal. And then if you go down here, I said, that scandal's peanuts compared to ETHgate. Where's the Hinman IG report? And of course, I added the video of Mike Novogratz predicting dimes to donuts that exactly what happened would happen at the SEC. Tether should be banned until they do full audits that go back to day one. Far too much risk for the West to take, far too little oversight, zero upside. Give the stablecoin business to audited US-based firms. And then Dom from EZA hits it out of the park and says, anyone know any US-based firms issuing stablecoins? I do. Now, as you I tell you what, I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to cover what's going on in the markets right now, and then I'm going to cover what I think is about to happen in the group, okay? And it's a positive thing that's about to happen as a result of all this stuff with tariffs and all this. But we're going to go to daixrp.com, which is the Patreon. And if you'd rather join through YouTube, click the join button below this video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.